What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another YouTube video. Here we're going to be talking about Excel and Google Sheets. In my last video, I talked about how to apply for the Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate for free, and I explained the whole financial aid thing step by step in that video. You can also go there and check it out. But for now, we're going to be looking at Excel and Google Sheets especially, and we're going to be doing little assignments with it. Actually, I hid an assignment in this particular video, so find it out and tell me your experience in the comment section. Now, I've done a lot of visualization, I've done a lot of work with data, but first of all, I had to put them on spreadsheet platforms. They are very important. So learning how to use spreadsheet platforms is a very important thing for anybody that wants to do tech, anybody that wants to do data analytics. Now let's step into the video.
So guys, Google Sheet is part of G Suite. It's also part of Google Drive. It is a spreadsheet platform online. You don't have to download any software. It is free to use, and let us go and find it on Google Drive. So we say drive.google.com, and when we go there, we press this new. You see a button here that says new. Yeah, when you click on it, you see Google Sheets, you see Google Docs, you see Google Slides, you see Google Forms. We're going to click on Google Sheets, and let's go. This is where we have Google Sheets. Like I said, it's a spreadsheet platform. It can be used for even very domestic purposes. People see it as a very professional tool, but you can use it and control your expenditure. You can use it and budget your spending. You can use it for almost everything. This is a place where you look and see that everything you think about doing that can help your life, can help your business, is possible. Everything is just almost possible on Google Sheets. So we're going to look at even other ways to access it. Remember, I said you go to Google Drive, you click new, you click Google Docs, or you go to Google Sheets. But let us see another way to open it now. Instead of this, I can open a new tab and say sheets.google.com. When you say sheets.google.com, it takes you to spreadsheets, and you see a blank, you see to-do list, you see annual budget. There are templates you can use. You can still go for blank, and I'll still show you another way to access it. There are just different ways to access it, but this next way I'm going to show you is like the easiest. You just open your browser, you type sheets.new. The same thing for docs.new when you want to use Google Docs. The same thing for slides.new when you want to use Google Slides. Everything in the G Suite, you can just do .new and you get to them. So we did sheets.new. We have a new spreadsheet platform. So when you have this platform, the next thing you might want to do is maybe rename your file, just the same way you download your file on Excel. Also, on this platform, you can rename your file. We can call it tutorial, maybe G Sheets. That's Google Sheets. Immediately you click enter. Now what this thing is going to do is that it's going to save somewhere on your drive, and it's just going to save randomly. So let's click enter. Save to drive. But there's something you can do. You can move this thing to a particular folder, on your drive. You can choose to create as many folders as possible. This is tutorial G Sheets. We want to create a new folder. We can say YouTube. I think that's what we are doing right now. So we can say move here. So it moves this to the YouTube folder. Do you understand? So if you go back to your Google Drive, you'll see that you have a YouTube folder there already. Let's look for it. We'll search and drive YouTube. So we'll see. Actually, I have to from my previous video. So this is tutorial G Sheets here. So it's here already. When you have this platform, I think you're almost ready to start entering or analyzing or manipulating your data. Down here we have sheet 1. You can add sheets, as many sheets as possible. This is the sheets platform. Just like Excel, you can create a new file, you can open, you can import, you can make a copy, you can share with others. One thing about this platform is that you can share with as many people as possible. You can share with as many people as possible. Share with others. You can email this file, you can download it Microsoft as CSV, as comma separated values, as a web page, as PDF. There's a lot you can do. You just need to. I think it can take hours for us to explain all these things, but you can just go ahead and walk through them. You know, you can undo when you make a mistake. You can redo. You know, you can cut. You can paste special. Paste special is a very beautiful feature. You can, when you copy values that have a lot of formulas, which we'll be looking at soon, you can just choose to leave the formulas behind and paste values only. And formats only. You can paste the formats only. You can paste the formula only. You know, you can do a lot. You can delete. You can take particular range. You can delete by range. You can delete a row. You can find and replace. When you have a very big or a very big data set, and maybe you cannot find things manually, you can just click to find and replace. You can change the view. You can view full screen. You can freeze up rows, and we are going to look at all that soon. You can insert cells. You can insert a chart from a table. You can insert a pivot table. You can change format. You can change numbers to plain text, percentage. Lots data. You can sort the sheets, sort range, and it's not here now because we don't have values put down. There's a lot that we'll be looking at, but I think we should just jump into it and do some data, and it will become more practical to everybody. So before we do the data entry and start manipulating what we have, there's another thing we need to talk about. These sheets that we have created, we can actually rename them. You can actually do it by either double clicking, let's say budget summary. That we can. Another way is with that right click and you see rename, right? You can say January. Another way too is to when you rename, or say February. When you say February, you can choose to maybe change color. You can make it, just for ease of remembrance or ease of, so you can look it up easily. You know that every February is yellow, every January is, let's say red. Many people broke January, so we can put it red. Let's say red. Let's say budget summary. We can do a lot. This can be matched. You can add a lot. So this is just, I'm trying to tell you what a lot of stuff we can do with the sheets to make it easy to access. So you can go back by saying undo, and it goes back to whatever it was. We look at this. You have A, B, C, D all the way to Z. The first time I started exploring Google Sheets, it never occurred to me that these were just alphabets, and alphabets will somehow stop at Z, especially when it's English alphabets. So I was keying in data, and I almost got to a place where I just had to stop at Z, because I thought it was maybe after Z I keep going down, maybe with alpha, beta, gamma, but it was not like that. It stops at Z. But on this other side, we have numbers. We have these numbers to as many as possible. It's more infinite than the A to Z. And this A, B, C, D down represents the columns. These are columns here. This A, this column A, this column B, this column C. These are the columns, right? And the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all that down, you can select a particular row. This represents the row. Like this is row number 1, this is row number 2, this is row number 3. These are the rows. While the A, B, C, they represent the columns. And when you hit one of, you remember you can navigate by just your direction buttons. Left, right, up and down. You can make your navigations. But here, this is called a cell. Any of these things you see, any of these little boxes you see that make up a spreadsheet, they are called cells. So how do we refer to this cell? We see this cell as cell C. You start with the alphabet first. Call it cell C what? 8. That's why anytime you click on a cell, what represents the column is there, and what represents the row is there. So we say this is cell what? E 3. Let's randomly click another one. We'll now see that this has been highlighted and this has been highlighted. So with this, we say this is cell B11. We say this is cell J7. We say this is cell L14. Do you understand? So when we advance more, we start using formulas. You see the importance of knowing that what cell is what. Knowing how to make reference to cells. Making reference to cells is one of the most important things in using spreadsheet platforms. But there's a way to know what cell is which very easily. When you click on a particular cell, you see it here. It's called a name box. Name box. You see there's called a name box. So this is cell F10. Click on that cell, you see, look at the name box, cell G6, and that cell B4, and that cell E5. So cells, rows, and columns make up a Google Sheet. These are the things we use to format or manipulate or automate the things we work on, but these now are what we work on. We make reference to them with this and this. Column names first and the row names second. So from here we are going to delete these extra sheets that we have. Sheet 1 now. Let us jump into it. First thing I think we should do is rename this, let's say budget summary. So let's see here. Let's start with saying this is the budget. So we'll say, I don't know how you plan your budgeting, but let's look at this. Let's say this is expenses. Let's say this other one is monthly costs. And let's say the next one is yearly costs. Now you can use the tab key to go to the next cell. You can actually use the directions key also, but the tab key most times is just a little handy. When you finish typing, you can just click the tab key to go to the next cell. So there's something you should also note about resizing rows and columns. Let us just type a long sentence. Let's say Odi is a very good boy. It looks like it's going into the next cell, Abby. It's in cell D2 now, but it's looking like it has entered cell E2. If you press enter, it still looks overlapped until you try to type something in cell E2. Let's say Aisha. Now the cell D2 cannot overlap again into the cell E2 because you have put something in cell E2, so it has to be fully represented too. One thing to do is that you can click here twice. You can click the border of that cell. When you hover around it, you get this particular symbol and you just click it 2 times. It automatically makes it align. Another way to do it, you can use Ctrl+Z to go back. Another way to do it is to pull it as wide as you want. Do you understand? You can make it as wide as you want. Cell D2, you can make it as wide as you want. Also do this with the rows too. As far as we get this symbol that makes it look like we can shift. One day this second row, which is row 2, to be a little bit bigger. You see. So this is monthly cost. When we need to write bigger things inside here, we want to say expenses we made on maybe bold, expenses we made on Taxify, expenses we make on bank charges or transportation or buying fuel, monthly cost on particular things. When you need to make longer sentences and you need them to be a little vertical, you can always pull it up. You can use Ctrl+Z to go back to what it was. So let's do a little bit more filling out of the data. So what type of expenses do we look at? Normal, we have your rent. Now if you press enter on Google Sheets or any spreadsheet platform, it takes you to the lower cell. If it was here and I use the tab, you can try it out as I'm doing it too. Use the tab, it goes to the next one on the right. But when you press enter and you're not typing anything, it makes it available for you to type, so you can key in words. But when it's on something that you've typed already and you press enter, it still gives you an opportunity to edit. But when I'm in the let me say I'm in the next one, let's look for another expense with, let's say, gym membership. And I'm done typing and I press enter, it goes to the down one anytime I'm done typing. Yeah, I hope we get that. So tab is an easy way to go to the right, but when you're done typing, when you press enter, it gets you to the lower cell. And that's, I'll just take my time and fill out the whole process and do a lot of data entering so that we go over to the analysis. Now let's look at text formatting. How do we make it look a little more appealing? How do we make it look more like what we want it to look like? If there's anything like that. So looking at this budget, what do we do to it? It's looking so ordinary. One might like to make it, but put it in caps and maybe bolden it. This is how to do it. When you bolden it, one may also want it to fill up these three tabs, stay in the middle. So what do? We hold. One thing I noticed in Excel is that people find it difficult to know what to press, and that might just be the problem. So when we click on this, we can run our mouse down or run your cursor down to the third one. So you look at this place that looks like it's merging cells together. You can click it, merge all, and it merges the whole thing. We can go, see, this is now like one cell. Now A1 to C1 is what the name box does. Now actually the colon you're seeing in the name box, A1 colon C1, that means A1 all the way to C1. Colon means all the way to, like, A1 to C1. You're going to be seeing a lot of it very soon, so just be ready. So we can now centralize this, we can centralize, and it's now at the middle, right? Another thing we can do is that we can increase the fonts. So if we click here, we can say let's make it 18. So we've seen that this is our budget now. We can reduce it to make it even more. And reduce this a little bit. And we can choose to make distance. We can choose to still maybe bolden these ones. Sorry. We can choose to bolden these ones. And choose to bolden these ones. So we can still click and run our mouse through it, and maybe color it, make it a particular color. It's coming up now, right? Looking more like it. So when we have this, we can choose to still put them, like, centralize them so look a bit more professional. Yearly cost, put yearly cost in the middle. So we are trying to do a lot of good budgeting. So we can choose to freeze this row. What do I mean by freezing it? We can right click and go to view more actions. So we say freeze up row 2. And why we freeze up this row is that we want to make it look frozen, so that anytime we choose to go down, like now I'm going down, I'm using the direction button to go down, and no matter how low I go, this is still up here. Because tomorrow I might choose to input more data in row 13, row 14, all the way down. As the expenses increase, and still keep going down. So no matter how low I go to look up data or to add data, I still have expenses. Monthly cost and yearly cost on top there, because I have frozen the row. This is money. Let's say it's naira, right? In Nigeria. So let's say this is naira. So let us try to, instead of putting the naira sign in all of them, I won't do that. So one thing I can do is that I can click on this and say format. I can now say custom currency. I can go here and search for naira. See it here, Nigerian naira. You apply. So when that is done, you don't want to do the same process for this, right clicking and formatting. There's something you can actually do to make it, since you know that this place is going to be cost. You can click on this column B. When you click on this column B, you go to format and you change it to what? Nigerian naira. You see that every number here has been formatted with the naira. And Google Sheets is smart. It knows that this is not number or this is not a cost. This is just a header. It knows that this is not number and this is not a cost. It's just a header. Do you understand? So you can actually still reduce the number of decimal places. See it here, decrease decimal places, increase decimal places. So we can, you see, we have eliminated all those decimal places that make it look a little confusing. So at a point in your when you're entering all your expenses, you may remember that you didn't add or you forgot a particular expense that takes your money. Now look at let's say this is row 11. You want to add a row. When you right click it, you see a lot of options here, and you see cut, you see copy, you see paste. Let's just say insert row above. You see that row 11 is now row 12, and the row 11 is fully empty. You can input something here. You let's say bolt charges. Let's say you want to put it on its own, so you can still put a figure for it here. Now you can click the entire row and just press delete. Or you can actually delete the row itself and have it go back to normal. You can copy, you can click on row 12 and choose to copy it. You can copy the entire row. You can go to maybe row 15. You can just say Ctrl V. That's data. Another way to do it, so you can right click and you say paste. If you had a formula with it, you can say paste special and you paste the values only, so it doesn't come with the formula. There's a lot that can be done. A whole lot that can be done. Now you can hide the row. You can choose to hide it, so you don't have. Now it shows you a sign that there is actually a hidden row here. You can click it to bring it back. You can bring the service chart back. You can hide it at some point, just to maybe make visualizations, just to make what you're doing more picky when you want to really see some stuff and not see other stuff. A very important thing to look at in spreadsheet platforms is sorting. You may want to look at your expenses in alphabetical order. You might want to look at the costs from ascending to descending. You want to at a glance know the one that gives you the highest headache, or look at that sorting helps in a lot of instances. So sometimes there are some things that we do. We can just go to data and say sort sheet. We now say sort sheet by column A to Z. When we click it, it is sorted actually. You now see that budget B, C, D, E, F, G, and it's actually alphabetically sorted. But now I see that this my header, which was supposed to be the expenses in column 2, has been taken all the way to column 5. And so we see that we need to control it in some type of way. So you can use the undo or Ctrl Z, to go back. And instead of sorting sheets, there's another option there. You can sort a particular range. This particular side sorts the whole sheet. This particular sort sheet function is sorts the whole sheet. But there's another one we can do. We can actually sort a particular range. But first of all, we have to specify the range. So you click away from that and go to the range you want to specify. If you click range, you can hold down the shift button and click B12, which is where it ended. And in data, you now go back to that place and you now see sort range. You now see sort range by column A to Z. You can now choose to sort the column A where you have the rent, gym membership. Let's try it out. You see car insurance, everything is alphabetical now. Now I can do it another way. I may want to see the monthly cost in a descending order, in an ascending order. I click on one of the cells in column B, you understand, and I hold down the shift button. I go to the last cell on where I enter data on column A and hold it to. I go back to the data pane. I go to sort range, and I say sort range by column B now, not by column A. Before, when we had it at car insurance, it's sorted by column A. Now we had it at this 10,000 naira, which is on column B. When I go to sort range, it's going to say sort range by column B, A to Z. So when we try that, we're going to see that A to Z now is from the smallest to the highest, which is Z. This is A, this is Z. So at a glance, we know that service charge is the least we are paying. We know that food is the highest we are paying. Do you understand? The average will be somewhere in the middle here. So we can still say, go back to data and we say sort range, and we say from Z to A. We know that data is the biggest thing taking our money. Do you understand? You see data these days, you now call that your billers and you say, are you taking my data so much? So we see that this is the highest the company spend. If this was a company, we say that at a glance you can know what the highest thing the company has spent money on this year. You can know the second highest, you can know the least thing, which is just the service charge, maybe the person that sweeps the office. These are the things that Google Sheets can help you do in a glance. So now what do we want to find about this, our monthly expenses? First thing you want to know is the total. What's the total I spend in a month? We can come down here and say total. You can make it caps to make it look better and highlight it and bolden it. Now we want to sum all these here. How do we do that? We want to make sure that instead of doing it with a calculator or maybe a calculator app or the calculator on your cell, how do you just make the total come out here? How do you make it come out in a way that even if you add a row, it still updates, the total still updates? Even if you edit on any of these numbers, the total still updates. Now let's go out here. Let's say this is 500 and this is 725 and this is 202 and this is 3 and we have here, and we want to put the total of this. We want to put the total here. How do we do this? We can click on that place and just go to this functions bar. We can say functions. Sum means addition, right? We say sum. Sum is the result you get from adding different numbers. Now there's a way to do this. You can click on this and hold down your cursor and go and go and go. You see, it says, remember when I said that the colon means from this to this, so this is saying from E12 to H12. Now remember, we have all these places highlighted. We have, this is E12, that's 12 there. Is E12, F12, G12, H12, so it's from E12 to H12. So we have that the sum of this is 1430. So how else can we do this thing? Because I noticed too that one of the challenges I had is this click holding down and dragging. Sometimes it's just a problem for some people. You can click this and just press delete, so we can do it again. Anytime the numbers you want to add are together, they are just one cell after another. You can maybe we go and click this again. We say sum. You can hit the first one and just hold your shift button down. Maybe you hold your shift button and you can go to the last one. Do you understand? And still press enter. We have the 1430 again. You understand? There's still another way. You can, let us go out so that we can delete this. There's still another way. Any formula in Google Sheet or Excel or any spreadsheets platform is prefixed with an equal sign. You say equal to, you say sum. You open a bracket. When you open the bracket, you can just click on this one. Hold down the shift button and click on this one, and you say what? You close the bracket. 1430. Now notice that you can increase these numbers here. You can say instead of 3, we can say it was a mistake. We'll say 30. See that the number is now 1457. You say no, this was actually 625, not 725. We'll say 625. You see, it reduces to 1357. Just like that. You say that is why if you use the calculator app to get this, it will not update. It will not have live updates. You understand? Any change that happens to all these now will affect this, because we have created a program, we have created a machine there, we have created a formula there. Now whenever you want to know if if we click on this one, what you see on this FX pane is just 30, and you see H12 in the name box, right? Click on this one, we'll see G12 and it's just 202. But if we click on this one, you see that there's actually a formula there, which is sum. We are summing E12 to H12, which gave us this 1357. So I'll just delete all those so that we can go back here, and we want to get the sum of all these things. So what do? We go back here to this formula or this functions pane. We say sum, yeah. We now we click the first one, hold the shift button down, and the last one. We say enter. We have that we spend 153,000 every month. So our budget, we should budget for every month is 153,000. Our expenses every month sums up to 153,000. So tomorrow, if you see that your NEPA bill may be reduced, I don't know if that happens in Nigeria too, but if you see that NEPA bill reduced, you say 9,000, you see that it goes down. You understand? 1,000 was lost, but we can still do Ctrl Z to put it back to what it was, and it's 153,000 that we have here. That was interesting, right? So even if you want to add an expense, you say insert row above. And I'll say we want to add an expense. We'll say we add, let's say 20,000. You understand? Yeah, it has jumped again to 173,000 because this formula now superimposes over everything. The formula works with every change that is made up here now. So we can use a Ctrl Z to get out of that. So what else? We want to know what we spend yearly on data. We want to know what we spend yearly on food. We want to know what we spend yearly on entertainment. We want to know what we spend yearly on the phone bill, all the way down to the service charge. So maybe you want to know it for your personal use. The company you work with as a data analyst wants to know. So what do? You look at this. The first thing that comes to your mind is that this is just for a monthly expense. This 30,000 is for a monthly expense. To get the yearly, you have to be multiplying this 30,000 by 12, right? But we cannot just do 30,000 times 12. We can't just do that. It's just going to give us 30,000 times 12. So what we'll do, we're going to clean that out. But we're going to now use a formula. This is how formulas are very important, because it looks like it's too difficult to memorize or something, but it's just the way you say it in like words, just like you're learning a new language. You're talking about the product here, you understand? But you can do it with formulas. You can just say, you know that this 30,000 is in B3, right? You look at the B3. You can say, remember, every formula is preceded with an equal sign. You say equal to. You say B3. You see that even Google Sheets is showing us. But Google Sheets is smart. It's showing us already that we can do B3 times 12 to get the yearly cost, because it has seen that I wrote yearly cost here. So we say B3 what times 12, and we hit the enter. Now when we hit the enter, we see that we are spending 360,000 on data every year. You understand? So it gives us an option to autofill. Are you getting what I'm saying? It gives us an option to autofill, but I'm not going to do that because it's looking like it's getting too easy. This is why I like Google Sheets. It makes sense because you have the internet connection. It makes sense just so easy and fast, you know. So instead, I will look at it. I'm looking at this little circle here. What do I do with this little circle? I can, instead of doing this whole, I can go here to and do equal to this is now B4, right? B4 times 12 again. Instead of doing it again and again and again and going all down, I say equal to, I get 360 because it's still 30,000. So maybe let's do another one, B5 times 12. I get 240,000. Instead of doing that, I'll see that as a waste of time, you know, because I know a trick. Now what's the trick? Look at this little circle that is here. I can drag it down up to service charge. Remember, I don't want to take it to total because it's going to give me something, you know, somehow. So I can drag it down to service charge. Now see that it has just given me at a glance, it has given me everything I need to know about my yearly expense. I've seen my data, I've seen my food, I've seen my entertainment, I've seen my phone bill, I've seen my rent, I've seen my car insurance, gym membership. You know, I've seen just everything I need to see. Do you get? One very important thing about using formulas here too is that anytime I change my data cost. Maybe that year or that month, sorry, maybe that month I used more data. I did a lot of YouTube downloads, or maybe a lot of Netflix download, and maybe there was a little spike in my data expenses. Maybe instead of 30,000 I have 45,000. Now what you're going to look out for now is the yearly cost here and the total here. It was 360,000 here and it was 153,000 here, but if I put it as 45,000 now, it's now 540,000 here and it's now 168,000 here. It's automatically updated because I already have formulas. These formulas are like programs that help me keep my values intact even if changes are made. They help me update my values even if changes are made. They make it more dynamic than static. So one of the most important things about Google Sheets is that you can always, download your files. You can download as Excel, as document. You cannot download as Google Sheets because Google Sheet lives inside here, but it cannot live out of here. So you can download as CSV files, even PDF. You can email it to someone immediately. I can choose what the person will do on the sheet that I share. Let me send it to you. So I can say, instead of editor, I can say viewer or commenter. I can choose what the person will do, and I can attach a message. I can say, please. I can just send, to the person, and the person gets an email and has access to it. I can copy the link to, even as I'm sending it to the person. So I'll just cancel that, and I'll just cancel that.
See you in the next video. We're going to be learning a lot about formulas in Excel, formulas in Google Sheets. We're going to be looking at from beginner level to the big boy stuff. Google Sheets or Excel has a lot of formulas. There's a lot of formulas you can use to do very massive calculations that would have been a whole problem if you did it with just calculator app. But you can just create the formulas on Google Sheets there, and Excel actually have it solve a lot of problems for you. Google Sheets is one of the spreadsheet platforms that data analysts use to enter a lot of data before analysis can be made, before cleaning, before a lot of stuff can be made. All these visualizations you see everywhere, they have already been analyzed and cleaned in Google Sheets before they were brought into the visualization software. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos that will be coming up in this channel. Take care of yourself, and bye bye.